Handcuff this man. Now, first, what we're about to do might look a little kinky.
Bow chicka bow wow.
But in truth, can I just ask you for a moment, Trent, have you ever been handcuffed? Well, no, don't answer that. Trent. No. Okay. All right, I'm going to have you hold that right there. What does it feel like to be in handcuffs?
Restrictive.
Yes. And have you at times in your job in the past felt restricted?
Very much so.
Yeah, just tell me a little bit about that, safely what you feel like you really can.
So my job's a little different than most people's jobs. You know that better than most. I won't go into great detail into it, but I experience some pretty horrible things in my job from time to time. And that's restrictive. It's restrictive on my family, it's restricted on my relationship with my beautiful wife. And I am more or less bottlenecked from the goals that I have and that I want. And when I came to you that day and said, I'm going to likely be let go, I didn't really know if I was going to be let go or not. It's a very, for the first time in my life, I felt like a slave to the man, if I can say that.
And I think that might be what that feels right there.
Yes.
Right? That type of restriction. By the way, how many of you have felt that in your life? You felt constricted, you felt restricted, you felt like, some of you, that phrase, it's not very PC, but this idea of feeling like slave to somebody else. Has anyone ever felt that way in their job or financial circumstance in life? I think a lot of us relate to that. I know I personally relate to that. And, I put a big challenge in front of you. I had no idea what was going to happen. I decided to turn on the camera and say, well, this ought to be interesting. But the reality is you were putting in 1 to 2 hours a day, and at the end of that month, you did something pretty amazing. You didn't just supplement your life with a little bit of income. You revealed the possibility that could mean in time something so much bigger. And what did it feel like at the end of those 30 days with what was awakened within with that entrepreneurial spirit? What did you learn?
When you asked me, you said, how are your numbers looking? Honestly, I didn't know. And you said, well, tomorrow morning, because if you don't know, Kris and I work out together every morning. It's a awesome and terrible experience for 2.5 hours every morning. But he said, tomorrow morning when you show up, I need to know what your numbers are. I said, I should probably know those numbers too. So what I realized is that I had booked $9,100 in jobs over 3 different types of contracting work. I was fairly beside myself in the fact that that had happened.
Yeah. And by the way, when you look at your future and you look at where you're at and what you're contemplating and what you want to do with your life, how do you feel now compared to what that felt like when your boss was ready to shut you down and say, I don't know what's going to happen next 90 days, but you could lose your job?
So I'm realizing that I'm in charge of this, and I was just talking to the person sitting in front of me, and she was asking me questions, and how much I've learned since we did that first 30 days. I've learned about financing, I've learned about advertising. Where's Martina? I've learned how to utilize people and be a team member. I outsource my advertising, I outsource the fulfillment, I outsource the contacting. I don't do any of that. I check my numbers, I check the leads, that's all I do. So I've learned about management. So literally it's whatever I make it at this point.
You guys understand for a moment that most businesses suck. They require all your time and give you too little pay. How many of you feel that way? So by the way, what Trent's describing sounds a little bit different, right? It sounds like less time, more money. How many of you are experiencing that right now? You're going to learn more about this in one of our blueprints. And so, team, will you please cuff up everyone else here that we're going to be acknowledging on stage? Reason why we're giving you handcuffs is because reality is when you get into real estate, it's about getting your time back. When you start making money as a hustler, when you get out there and learn how to move it. You see Marianne's shirt right there? When you start hustling and making it happen, you do what Trent just said. You start taking back control of your life. And let me ask you, we're talking triple-digit ROI right now. We're talking about not doubling your money in 15 years or 25 years. We're talking about doubling it in 48 days or in 2 weeks. By the way, how many of you want to learn how to do that? How many of you want, make some noise if you want to learn how to do that. Asia, I was talking to your husband. He's like, man, Kris, I really want to do the 7-figure hustle thing, but but I really want my wife to come to this event and see if she'll get behind me on this. Is this something you can support him in? If he wants to do it, because, buddy, I know you want out of your job real bad. I say in the next 90 days, we make it happen. What do you say? Are you ready to do it? Guys, give it up for that. Well, I've never used bolt cutters on those are really thick pair of handcuffs, so we're going to see what goes down. But these are the bolt cutters of financial freedom. Dun, dun, dun. What are they? All right, and here's what we're going to do. We're going to create this amazing experience because you get to keep the cuffs and you get to put them in this bag. They come with a 7-figure hustle logo on there, and it is a reminder that you are in charge of your financial life and that it doesn't have to take 10 years to free yourself. It doesn't have to take 20 years. I believe that some of you can hustle in a way that in less than 12 months, you can quit your job, be in charge of your financial future, and live life on your terms. And by the way, that's something I did not have when I was hungry in 22. I did it through real estate. It took me 4.5 years. What we're talking about right now is an accelerant. A what? Accelerant. How many of you want to go faster? How many of you want more time back? That's what they've been doing. Give it up for all these ninjas back here making it happen. And let's see how this goes. You ready? Give it up for them.